3.
Hi, my name is Enver. I am Gestalt therapist, and I'm very glad to have this opportunity to talk a little bit how I use Gestalt therapy and why is it my favorite approach. I also would like to talk a little bit about the difference between therapy and counseling and why the difference is very important. So, why do I really like a Gestalt therapy, and what is for me Gestalt therapy is the question that came back to me a lot of time when I practiced different approaches, and I was studying and practicing in my 30 years of being a therapist, probably more than 10 different approaches, from cognitive therapies to some hypnotic techniques. And my beginning was in transactional analysis, but after I found out Gestalt therapy, I was in the beginning looking for more, but always coming back to Gestalt. So let me first say something about the difference between counseling and therapy. Counseling for me is a project. It's a structured, very clear, goal-oriented group of techniques and skills where we come clearly from one point to the other point, and we can easily evaluate the success of counseling. On the other hand, therapy is more adventure, it's more investigation, more exploring what really is there, with very clear, I would say, faith or confidence that after we clearly see the situation, or from perspective of personality, if we really find out who the person is, then the change comes easy and naturally, and it is always growth, development, enrichment, maturing. This is not like just my opinion. It is known that in Gestalt therapy there is a special paradoxical theory of change that says in order to be and to change and to be who you want to be, you first need to know who you are. And that's a challenging process. So what's a Gestalt therapy? Gestalt therapy usually, at least that's in all introductions about Gestalt therapy, is a stress on phenomenological and existential ideas and philosophical backgrounds. But I would like to add dialectics. To me, dialectics is the core of Gestalt process, where thesis against antithesis and synthesis are in a way mirroring of figure and ground, and dance between figure and ground, forming a new ground that then has a tendency to go back to the background, and all this play is, to me, what sometimes is seen on a perception level is dialectic on a cognitive level. So how do we start in Gestalt therapy, and what is the goal? Actually, beginning and the goal are the same. It's awareness. How can we be aware here and now while I'm sitting with you and being aware of what is going on. With this principle here and now and awareness, there is a presence. And let me first say every term that I will use now talking about Gestalt therapy is a very loaded term. Those are very loaded, and there are 100 books written about every of these terms, and there is no clear definitions that everyone agrees upon. So it is kind of space of discussion and a different understanding. But I will just talk about how do I perceive that. So from here and now and awareness comes the presence. That means living in the now, and Fritz Perls, originator of Gestalt therapy, like to say, get out of your mind and come back to your senses. Really feel and see and perceive what is here and now without having concepts in your mind before you even start to see something. Out of presence then comes, if you are present in a situation, then comes the next word that I like, is a stillness. Stillness is a space where you notice what's going on around you, but you are also aware of your thoughts and interpretations. So basically, I would define for this moment stillness as ability to create space between stimulus and our reactions. When we are not overreacting, where we don't know in advance what's going on, when we are not slaves of our impulses or habits, when we create space where we can make choices, what to do, how to do it, that's stillness. And when I'm with somebody and we are present and still at a certain moment, then we can really experience different things and let our experiences come out and be recognized. And out of the experiences then comes contact. And contact is really meeting of different things. Meeting me with something that is not me. Is it some situation or other person or something in me that arises new and different? But that is, the contact is actually basis of growth. That's how we reject or assimilate, depending on do we like or need something or don't need. Out of contact with another person comes dialogue. So if we have these differences, you have your experiences, I have my experience, then we start to dialogue. Dialogue also has a special meaning in Gestalt, and that's one of the core principles of dialoguing, exchanging our views and trying to get to know more about ourselves in relationship with somebody else. Out of dialogue comes relationship. We are building our relationship by being together and exchanging and dialoguing about our differences and similarities. So this process of unification and separation in a good relationship goes freely in every direction. And if we do all this, then we will establish the most important therapeutic condition that usually differentiate good therapists from less successful therapists. And that is, let me check here, am I really talking about something useful? Can you guess what is the next word? And if you didn't think about trustful connection, that means I probably should talk about that a little bit more. Trustful connection is probably core of every relationship. And you can just think about Carl Rogers and his 3 conditions of good therapeutic relationship, 3 conditions that he found necessary but also sufficient that therapy will be successful. So if we talk about these 3 things, genuineness, authenticity, empathy, and unconditional acceptance, we will see that all of 3 are actually elements of trust. So in order for you to trust me, you need to perceive me as genuine, as somebody who present himself who he is. You also need to perceive me as somebody who is empathic, who understands you not only on intellectual level, but even more deeper human level. And also you want to be seen who you are and accepted who you are as you are, so that you can be free to express yourself in this and then to explore a little bit different things. Now, one more important thing is that while I was talking about here and now and awareness and the presence and the stillness and the dialogue and contact and trust, it's very important to know that every of these elements of good therapy work together in all directions. They influence each other. So if I'm here with you and we are in a here and now, our relationship will be better. If our relationship develops, it will be more trust. If we trust each other, we will let stillness and presence to grow. With presence and stillness, we are still more in the now, we are more aware of what's going on, our experiences come freely, we discuss them, we dialogue about it, so everything it goes. So basically that's very optimistic view. Not only that it's realistic, but it's also optimistic, so we can work on any of these elements to start positive circle. That's kind of basic of how I would talk for now about Gestalt therapy. Now I would like to say a little bit about how science and art meet in Gestalt therapy. So when I have a client, I start with diagnostics. And as much as it is known that Gestalt therapy is not really in favor of diagnostics, because we really see here and now special, unique moment with a special person, in the same time, it is helpful to see angry person, bipolar, depressed person. And that's a science, actually putting different elements of reality in a certain groups that have certain rules, expectations, and how we can treat them. But in Gestalt, it's just beginning. Because even if I have depressed person, I'm very much interested how this depressed person differentiates from every other depressed. What's uniqueness? What is special in this depressed person, and how we can use this specialness for growth, for benefits, because a person chose to be depressed for some good reason, and we want to find that good reason before we try to use it as growing and developing in a positive sense and alleviate pain and help a person to open up and communicate in a better and constructive way with others. And that's the art. That's the, you know, looking for, we always appreciate good artists when she presents reality or create reality in a way to find view at reality in some special, new, novel, exciting, creative way. There is another thing that I would also like to say, and to explain why Gestalt therapy is favorite to me, and that is that Gestalt therapist, and it's a little bit different from other therapies, Gestalt therapist is never catalyst in therapy. That means there's never a client who comes to meet me, we talk, I help him, he leaves, and I stay the same. Gestalt therapist is always the part of the process. We grow with clients. And I like this job. I'm excited about new clients the same as I was excited when I started, when I was still a student of psychology and had my first therapy sessions, and same excitement, same enthusiasm is still in me, because in the art we are always looking for something new, and all what we know, all experience, all self-confidence is not there to put us at peace, but to give us energy to go even more with that. And that's basically what I wanted to talk about today. And before I finish, I have a question for you who listens to me. And I would like to ask you, how would you assess me from, let's say, perspective of acceptance? How am I able to be accepting to you? If 0 would be very low acceptance, if 10 would be maximum acceptance, how much would you assess me? Take some time and grade me from 1 to 10. And if you just consider to answer this question, if you just think about it, and I don't know who you are, I don't know, are you male or female, are you experienced or just new to this, and you still think about, am I accepting, isn't that a magic? Thank you.